All right, I'm here with
Brent Edwards.
And you did a talk today on what?
Developing a modern Windows app.
So what is a modern Windows app? Is it all in JavaScript?
It could be, but I talked about C# and XAML, and a modern Windows app would be a Windows Store application and a Windows Phone application that is following the modern design principles.
Okay. Speaking of Windows Phone and Windows Store apps, you hear a lot of terminology about PCLs, shared libraries, universal apps. How does this all come into play? Because this is supposed to be the modern way of doing things, but it seems like it could be looked at as a confusing morass of just what am I supposed to pick, or what are these things and why are they relevant?
Right. Well, they're all relevant, and what I talked about is doing a universal app that would work both on Windows and Windows Phone, and I talked about the shared library approach. But you could also do the PCL. The biggest drawback I see to the PCL is that it's a lowest common denominator approach.
Okay.
And the shared library is code that is basically a project that is just a placeholder for code. So you've got code that is going to be referenced by two different projects, and you can go ahead and use that, and you don't have to worry about doing lowest common denominator code there. You can use compiler directives if you need to, or get clever with abstraction and have just platform-specific stuff there.
So with Windows 10, we obviously had to skip a number there.
Right.
With Windows 10, one of the biggest complaints I've heard with Windows 8 and Windows Store apps is they're not friendly to the enterprise. You can't, side loading is just a big pain in the ass, and they're just not conducive to somebody doing the traditional, here's an app that did Windows, I want to distribute to my enterprise, and more or less it's relatively easy to do. And this just made it much, much more harder, which in some ways I think limited the adoption of store apps. With Windows 10, is that changing at all? Do we know anything about that yet?
At this point, I don't know of anything changing with that. There maybe some announcements are yet to come, but I don't. At this point, I haven't heard anything where we're going to have much more of an improvement, at least in terms of having an enterprise deployment, or enterprises have an easier time than like the middle size or small size projects. So those are the ones that are really going to have a challenge right now, and I haven't heard any improvement.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Brent.
You bet.